If someone was watching the interactions you have with that other person and studying you, what do you think that they would surmise? Like, I want you to picture from the outside looking in, if someone is looking at your life, looking at the interactions you have. Again, this could be with your partner, this could be with your employees, with your friends, even with yourself. Picture someone studying you and studying the way that you speak, the way that you interact. Do you think that they're going to think, man, this person is really leading and this person is inspiring, or is this person really dragging that other person down? What is up, guys? My name is Jim Sabellico, and this is the No Half Cakes podcast. This episode specifically is a strategy sprinkle, and if you're here, it's because you want a practical, tactical tip to level yourself up in both your personal and professional life. And today I got one for you. Sorry for being pumped, man, but honestly, I'm not sorry, because this one is a really good one and on one of my favorite topics, relationships and communication. So before I jump into that, real bit of housekeeping for you quickly. Monday's episodes, Mindset Monday, those are powerful, positive perspectives to carry you through the week. Wednesday episodes is our long form version of the show. I'm going to sit down with a guest. We're going to talk about the real, the raw, the good, the bad, the ugly. Those are some of my favorite episodes. If you have not caught one of those, please go ahead and check those out. They are awesome. I know I'm patting myself on the back a little bit there, but they are good. Like, not just good, they're great. And if you don't believe me, go check them out and then come back and tell me, because I'm pretty proud of those. All right, for real though, today, strategy sprinkle. I want to talk to you about something called the magic ratio. Now, this was a study by a psychologist, John Gottman. Now, what he did was he studied 700 couples. Okay, he studied the interactions. He videotaped the interactions of 700 couples. And he studied these interactions to see the percentage of positive interactions and negative interactions. And what this man did, after studying these 700 couples, after 10 years, he went back and was able to predict to 94% accuracy the number of couples who were divorced and who were still together. Okay, I want to let that sink in for a second. A couple reasons. Number one, 94% accuracy to be able to predict based on watching the interactions of a couple. Okay, and I want you to think about that for a second, because first of all, if someone was watching you, watching the interactions you have, and this could be with your partner, this could be with your employees, this could be with whoever, okay? We're going to use partner or spouse or whatever, the interactions you have with another person, okay? Because this is really universal. If someone was watching the interactions you have with that other person and studying you, what do you think that they would surmise? Like, I want you to picture from the outside looking in, if someone is looking at your life, looking at the interactions you have. Again, this could be with your partner, this could be with your employees, with your friends, even with yourself. Picture someone studying you and studying the way that you speak, the way that you interact. Do you think that they're going to think, man, this person is really leading and this person is inspiring, or is this person really dragging that other person down? Consider that for a second. Now let's talk a little bit more about the magic ratio, because there's a number here, right? So why he was able to predict this is for a very good reason. He was able to tell that the ratio of 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction was what he called the magic ratio. That's what he used to predict the success or ultimate failure of those relationships. Right now, the Bible says there is power of life and death in the tongue. And that's what we're talking about here, the interactions that you have, the way that you speak to other people. And again, that could be in relationships in your home, in your business, it doesn't matter, right? We're here because we want to level up in all areas. And that's what this is about. This is about leveling up in every area of your life. And in order to do that, you need to be focused on how you come across, how you interact, how you communicate. I'm not saying that you should just ignore and avoid anything that's negative. But if you only come to me to tell me the negative, it's not going to go well. Okay, but if you come to me and say, hey, I'm really proud of this, or this is going well, or here's an awesome thing that I want to share, right? These 5 positive interactions do not have to be, I'm going to you 5 times and telling you how great you are. It's not about you. They could be positive interactions about something else. Hey, here's a funny story I saw. Hey, here's an awesome whatever. Okay, I'm not asking you to go to every person in your life and tell them every time you see them how amazing they are, because that's really fake and it's going to get tired really fast. But if 5 times out of 6 you come to a person and there's a positive interaction, even if it's small, even if it's just a text message that says, hey, just thinking about you, hope all is well, count that one on the positive side. Right? So you building up these interactions with people, even though you think they're small, they might not matter too much. They do. And you're building up that relationship. And those little interactions over time, first of all, they're going to build trust and safety in that relationship. Again, we're talking in your house, in your business, in every area of your life, those relationships are going to work pretty much the same way. You got to be willing to be positive. And I understand when you're in a negative space, it can be really difficult. But what winds up happening is when you're in that negative space, you get this downward spiral where you just start to spread negativity. And then that's all you get back in return, and your relationship starts to suffer. Because when you're in that negative spot, when it's really difficult to be positive about things, what winds up happening is you have more and more negative interactions with people. And then what happens? People don't want to be around you. Your relationships suffer in your home, in your business, in your friends. Then you start to feel alone. Right? And if you've been in that spot, because I've been in that spot, and it sucks. And it takes a lot of freaking strength to start becoming positive and to find the good. But let me tell you something. There's a reason why that magic ratio exists. There's a reason why it was 94% accurate, because it actually works. Okay, so in order to start to build these positive relationships, in order to start to have that fruit in your life, you got to be willing to be grateful. You got to be willing to look for the good. You got to be willing to rejoice in the suffering and not just say, hey, man, this sucks. But look at what is this teaching me? What is this bringing me? Where am I going to grow from this experience? How am I going to look back in 6 months and say, man, that thing was difficult, but look where I am now. I am so happy that thing happened. Even though it sucked at the time, even though I was pissed off at the time, I can look back on it and say, I'm a better person because of that. And when you start to build that trust in the fact that even though the thing you're in right now might not be the best, you might be like, man, this is poop. This is a steaming pile of hot poop. But I understand in 6 months from now, I'm going to come back and this poop will have helped me grow a better garden. Okay, that's a really weird analogy, but just go with me here. You start to look at how to turn the negative into positive. You start to shift the conversation from negative interaction to positive interaction. You start to have those 5-to-1 relationships. Those start to compound. You start to be filled with positive relationships in your life. Man, that is the best way to be. But it starts with you. It starts with the interactions you have with people. It starts with those 5 positive interactions for that 1 negative. And again, I'm not asking you to not share things. I'm not asking you to be overly positive and pretend the world is all rainbows and butterflies. It's not. But if you start to put these things together, the things we talked about with reflection and gratitude and appreciation and building these things, these tribes of people around you where you can start to see the good, you can start to be grateful, you can start to improve day by day, 1% every day, you can start to shift. And you understand it's not going to happen overnight. Right? You're not going to be back here next Saturday and all of a sudden everything is just different. Could be, right? You could form that transition. You could have that turning point. I'm not saying you can't. But you have to understand that sometimes the best things take time. But if you start moving in that direction, you start being grateful, you start looking at, hey, instead of 0 positive interactions and 1 negative interaction, you start to go to 2-to-1. Be a little bit more grateful, be a little bit more appreciative, be a little bit happier, be a little bit more full of joy. You understand it's difficult to just be positive, right? It's easy to say, oh, just be happy. It's not as easy to walk it out, right? I get that part. And that's where having the tribe, having the relationships, having the 1-to-1 interactions start to come in where you can process that, where you can deal with the stuff that's going on in a safe spot. Right? That's what we got the Tadbetter Club for. That's what we got Tribe for. That's what we got people like my good friends who you could reach out to, people like me who are going to be here for you. If you have issues, you have a spot to go, a safe spot to go where you don't have to bleed on the people around you. You build up those relationships where you can go and you can pour into and they can pour back into you to start to get you more toward that 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, right? Where you can be full of joy. You don't like being around negative people. You like being around happy, positive people. It's more fun. No one wants to be around the sad guy. What's worse, being the sad guy. Right? It sucks. I've been there, been depressed, been actually depressed with anxiety, right? You have those moments. I understand they suck and I don't want to go back there. The whole freaking reason why I do this is because I don't want to see you there ever. It sucks. I hope you never get there. Right? That's the reason why I do this show is to prevent you from having to come home at 8:45 at night and see a half a freaking birthday cake in front of you. From having to talk about getting divorced. To look in the mirror and not recognize yourself. That sucks. I don't want that for you. I want you to have the best life. It's the whole reason why I do this. It's the whole reason why I reach out to people like you. It's the whole reason why we're here talking about this stuff. Because you freaking deserve better. And I want you to take this and I want you to understand there is actual science behind this. There is actual easy things that you can start to implement and move toward and at least understand. That's the point of this show today. That's the point of this is to get you to understand it's not just luck. Right? You're not destined to have a crappy life. You can start to shift the way that you think. Right? When you understand the way that these work, when you understand the way that relationships work and friendships work and people work and communication works, you can start to shift how you move, how you show up. And when you start to change the inputs, the outputs are going to change. It's just that simple. Right? But it starts with us. It starts with the work that we do that we're willing to accept. It starts with us being willing to accept the hard truth that right now I'm not showing up in the best light. That sucks to say. You don't have to admit that you are not the most positive person right now. I get it. No one wants us to have that conversation, but until we get to the spot where we can realize I've got room to grow, we're not going to grow. Okay, so I'm going to stop rambling because I want you to have an awesome Saturday. I want you to look into the magic ratio of 5-to-1 in relationships. Go look into this stuff. There's science behind it. You can go read into this and research into this for days. Okay, come back here on Monday for Mindset Monday. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because I do not want you to miss out on this and I want you to have the best freaking life possible. Love you. Have an awesome Saturday.